Welcome back to Champions, where we've got one last quarterfinal ahead of us, and it's sports FNATIC versus KRÜ Esports. I'm here with Bala and Jess to break it all down, to close us out before we head over to VCT Music Hall for that semifinals and that final. Gambit taking the last one, going to face the winner of this. And Bala, when I spoke to Redgar, he said that his heart is kind of hoping for KRÜ to see them do it, and that there's something that tells him, kind of makes him feel like it might happen, but that his head says FNATIC, and in some ways he wants that rematch against that squad.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of different people's stories right now, right? Everybody is captured by KRÜ after their win over Sentinels, but on the other side, there's FNATIC, where we know they're Lanimals. We know they can perform on a stage, and at a certain level, they made a lot of fans with that too.
Well, let's keep talking about this FNATIC roster, because as it's been talked about, their group from the start of everything was considered the group of death, the toughest one to get out of. But they took down Cloud9, they took down Vision Strikers to get that one seed out of their group. We've used the term Lanimal, and I think, again, it very much applies to this squad.
I mean, it's not even just the entirety of the squad. It's also the individual players stepping up in their roles and specializing. And I was speaking to a couple of the talent in the back room, and I said to them, I like the fact that each of the players on the roster has a specialization. They know what they need to focus on, and whilst they might have a little bit of jovialness around the game, they're very serious about what they do, and they put up the score as a result.
I don't, you know, I realize this is a bit of a joke, but you actually said, don't hurt the wrists, man. If you do fall, roll into the shoulder. Don't brace with the wrist, man.
You're an actor.
Yes, I am.
He's an actor.
He is, I know. So we are kindred spirits.
I'm just telling you, you fell for the bait.
He tricked you there.
That means he's a good actor. That's how you know a good actor, right? Oh, my God. I hope I get to interview Boaster at some point later in this tournament, because somehow we've avoided each other up to this point. You talk about individual stars, though, on this lineup, and we'll talk plenty about Boaster, I'm sure, throughout the competition. I want to talk about Durka. This is a guy that, if we call all the way back to Masters Reykjavik, captured a lot of people's hearts and minds with his play.
Yeah, I mean, and back then it was a lot of the time on the jet, and this time around it feels different, right? It feels like this is more than just, you know, the normal role that he plays. This feels like he is not only playing at a level that he could carry the team if he needed to, but he's also just doing what he needs to do constantly with his Rays or with his jet.
And it's not even just that he's doing what he needs to do. He's above and beyond. Do you want to know how he looked in groups? #1 ranked ACS. #1 ranked damage per round. #1 in the entire tournament ranked KDA. #1 ranked KDR.
Damn.
I'm going to stop there, because I feel like we've gone down the list enough that I might not have any stats left over for the man, but he ranked #1 in every single one of them.
Do you have that damage per round number handy, not just the rank? Because I am kind of curious.
No, sir.
Okay. Well, let's follow it up, because we've had some peeps dropping some massive numbers on singular maps. Of course, you want to find it map to map, and we'll see if we can do just that. But it's not just him hitting with the shots. It's his use of utility as well, and I think that's part of what Ball is talking about, where it feels a little different. It's not just jet op play or jet gun play. There's that utility focus from him too.
I mean, this is really what I want to highlight, because Doug and I have been complaining that we don't have metrics to show you how these players are using their utility. So how about I show you through, I guess, some visuals instead. The man has been able to capitalize on his paint shells time and time again. Where I first saw it was Tower on Fracture. That power position in the top corner next to B side. That's the one that he usually reigns supreme on that map with, but there have been multiple kills on every single map. He gets boombot kills, he gets paint shell kills. These are the kind of, whether it's assists or outright kills that he gets, that is adding to the fact that he was #1 coming out of groups in those categories.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why FNATIC's Fracture is so scary right now. It's literally a play just like that. But it's more than that. With FNATIC, it's always, why is that happening? Why is he getting boombot kills? You have to ask yourself that question. And it's because they are so strong with all of their utility from all the different players, whether it's a dart from Boaster, whether it's, you know, a Gravwell from Mystic, or different combinations. They're just consistently hitting them and forcing Durka to have massive impact with that nade.
Why is he getting boombot kills, and why am I getting boombot killed? That's a pretty standard question I ask on a daily basis. Also, too, that Raze, I do that plenty. The Raze and the Breach, though, was another combo that very specifically Redgar cited when he thinks of the Fracture meta, which still feels very undetermined. Those two agents, though, he feels can find a lot of combinations, and again, I think FNATIC is one of the teams to be able to show us just that. I do want to dive in to the team, though, and where their confidence is at. Let's hear with Magnum about whether or not he thinks they can win it all.
So guys, my name is Magnum and I'm player for FNATIC. We are pretty confident in winning of this tournament. I think we are unique and mainly in the way that we are actually taking our coaches super seriously. I think we are one of the most, if not the most disciplined team in here. I think that's our strongest side. Whoever is in our path to win the champion, we are coming for him.
Citing discipline as perhaps their biggest strength when it comes to a comparison between them and other squads here at the tournament, which again, to me, just feeds into this brilliant matchup that we have in front of us. Because if you've got discipline on one side, you have sheer ferocity on the other. KRÜ, you probably need to look no further than their celebration in taking down Sentinels to see how much it meant for this roster to get pushed to the point where they are right now.
Yeah, I think you've got discipline, you've got set strategies on FNATIC's side, and you've got pure grit for the side of KRÜ. I mean, this is one of those teams that I said coming into today that if there was to be an upset, I expected actually to come out of KRÜ. X10, love the team, but this team, this is the real dark horse. Cloud9's gone, baby, and guess who picks up that mantle now? It's KRÜ.
Can KRÜ do it?
I definitely think that there's merit to that question, right? To the answer, yes. I want to answer yes, but it rests on a couple of different people's shoulder, right? You cannot have a situation where Nags is not fragging in that first map like he did on Fracture against Sentinels. Those are the types of things that I'm looking at. I'm looking at Kesnet, but I'm also looking at Mazzino on his various different roles. He actually was, and it wasn't cited a lot when we were talking about it previously, but he was one of the most impactful players on that team as well. So you look at the range of players that they have, it's not necessarily the same way that FNATIC is actually stepping up and strategically breaking down a team. While it does happen, I think it's more on an individual level.
I think the call out on Nagzet is a big one. He has just been, as a long-standing member of the squad and a consistent performer, at least when they're in winning positions, you're going to look to him. And we'll later talk maybe a little bit about what Kesnet, the newest addition, brings to the squad, and particularly what it means for this matchup specifically against FNATIC, because that's one of the big change-ups. But Nagzet, we just got to talk about him on the jet if we're talking about Durka on the other side on those duelists.
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy in my mind that saved the game against Sentinels on this second map right here on Aven. It was unbelievable, the stuff that he was pulling out in man-down situations over and over and over after having such a weak, less than 60 ACS or something like that on Fracture. After that performance, he comes out and does that. That gives me hope that they can hang in the distance, like if the series goes a distance.
So we got some small glimpses of it right there in those highlights, Jet, but we talk about utility on the side of Durka. I think, what do you think, Nags, that you do think those kinds of Blade Storm moments, those maybe 1v2, 1v3 kinds of scenarios where he just pulls rounds back from the dead?
I mean, many people have seen me get on the desk, talk about his headshot percentage and whatnot. Well, how about I show you in these clips instead? Because what he's able to do with these Blade Storm, that's where he's consistently picking up those orbs. They want him to have the Blade Storm because that's where a lot of his impact and multi-kills will come from. That's where a lot of his headshot percentage comes from as well. And the reason I wanted to highlight that to all of you is that we have two big hitters on both sides of the spectrum going head-to-head today. Well, look out for those specific things. Look for the utility from the side of Durka and look from the Blade Storm for Nagzet. If he's missing it, something's going wrong.
Well, we talk about the sheer willpower that it took for them to take down Sentinels and make it to this point. One of the newest additions to the squad was a big reason for it. That's Kesnet. Let's hear from him, though, about how it felt to take down the #1 North American team.
Hola, mi nombre es Kesnet Deus, juego por la escuadra de KRÜ. Todos demasiado feliz, como un logro para nosotros ganarle a un Tier 1 que ganó una Master en Islandia. No puedo explicarlo, es muy bueno el sentimiento que tengo. Yo creo que la TAM tenía que dar este paso que dimos nosotros contra NA y ahora podemos sorprender bastante más. Como siempre, un saludito a toda la gente, que sigan apoyando a KRÜ, que esto recién está empezando. Muchas gracias, los quiero a todos.
We love you too, Kesnet. We love you too. Keep bringing the fire to this stage out here behind us. Let's start reframing towards map select.
Sure.
Particularly on the side of FNATIC, I'm curious because of how close their matchups have been. Yes, they've won 2 consecutive series to get to this point.
Yep.
But if you even just, you think of that Cloud9 series where it's 13-11, 13-11, and 14-12, and then same Vision Strikers, 13-10s, really tight matchups.
Yeah, you kind of think, I think you're leaning towards the fact that maybe they should start thinking about switching up what they want to play.
Well, it's just how do you decide whether or not it truly is an advantageous map for you, or if it is something you need to maybe rethink.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because in my mind, the way that they played on those maps as we get the first 2 bans in is actually a good thing. The way that they played, even though they lost those maps, I think they were close enough and good enough that it was fine.
Gotcha. Well, it's the 2 newest maps, Fracture and Breeze, that go out the map pool. KRÜ gets the first choice. They're taking us to Haven.
Yeah, look, that's not a surprise to me because obviously outside of all of the maps that you could sort of pick, I was also leaning towards Bind. I know I keep saying this every time I'm sitting on the desk with KRÜ, but I keep thinking, you know, what's the Bind? What's the situation there? Why don't you want to go to it? What's the decision making there?
You're not going to go to it against FNATIC.
Sure, but you're not going to go to Fracture against FNATIC either. So do you pick the lesser evil of the 2, considering you have struggled to pull a win?
I am surprised that they banned Fracture just because they played it, right? Yeah. So that's something that they clearly are comfortable with.
So the question becomes, does FNATIC pick up Bind? But I will also reference on the Haven pick that it's been 3 Haven games across their 3 series so far for KRÜ. So it's a very comfortable map. They've played it plenty in the last 7 days.
Yeah. Scary though, because FNATIC is a team that will prep the crap, and they've had a lot of time to do so. So Icebox second, that is, you know, pretty standard for FNATIC. KRÜ hasn't played it at all so far this tournament. So yeah, I mean that's a given, honestly.
And they're 2 for 2 exactly in their 2 series here on Icebox. So a natural selection for them. Now we move to 2 more bans before we find out what our third and final decider is. So this is where. Who do you want to take out split, though? Because I'm still leaning towards the get FNATIC off Bind. Oh, you want to go to split? Okay, I would love to go to split, too.
Go to split, and there goes the Bind.
That makes sense to me.
There we go. That goes off the board. And, I mean, even though I know I keep speaking about the fact that in historical time, Bind has looked not too bad for KRÜ, they themselves do not want to go down that path. And Bola said it best. There we go. That's what I'm looking for, and purely out of the fact that I just want more Rays, man. I want more Rays.
You know, I'm a little disappointed the way that they played this veto. Not with the maps that FNATIC is getting here, just because, honestly, I think about it, and I think that KRÜ is a team that's wanting to ban Icebox and Breeze. Usually Breeze, right? But FNATIC permit brands Breeze, and they did it again. My question is, can you have floated that so that you can have the advantage of them having to ban it themselves later on?
That's true. Really play the mind games in the map vetoes. The trouble is, you're in a position now, Baller, where you either need to play the safe game in the vetoes and not play something that might come back in your face very quickly, and also the mentality. Let's not forget that KRÜ is one that goes off momentum very, very well. So if they were to start off slow, that would be a really bad omen for them into that series, I think.
I think that's actually perfect, right? Because you're talking about the mentality that it is, and you actually can get a glimpse because they did not float Breeze. That means that they are playing it as safe as possible against KRÜ, so you can see what they feel in this situation.
A lot of respect given, but I like that we're asking the questions, especially when we get down to this point in the tournament. And again, every team needs to be playing from map vetoes through the gameplay itself at their absolute best. We're heading to a quick break. When we come back, we're diving into that first map and Agent Select. We'll catch you back here in just a bit.
Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Press play.
Welcome back to Champions, where there are 5 teams left standing, but only 4 can remain at the end of the day. Let's get out on stage, meet FNATIC and KRÜ to find out which one will be left standing to move on to the semifinals. FNATIC, the fourth of our EMEA squads, and KRÜ, the representatives left for the entire world, looking to take them down and take that final semi-final spot. I feel like there are always two battles out here on the Champions stage, the first of which is the stage entrances. The second of which is the three-map series. I'm not quite sure who won this one. Maybe the hair reveal or the bald reveal is enough to take it for FNATIC this time around.
Absolutely.
It's the ball buff, my friend. We've been seeing it through and through.
And both hit the Atso too.
Yeah, exactly. It works for Lincoln Team Liquid. Who knows? Maybe it'll work for FNATIC as well. We've talked a bit about it. We know which maps we're going to. We're going to kick things off on Haven. I'm extraordinarily interested in this one because it's one of those maps that KRÜ has played so often here at Champions, found pretty tremendous success on it, most notably taking that final map off of Sentinels to push them to this point. And it is where one of FNATIC's few losses here at the tournament has come, however close it was.
Yep. And the interesting part about the first two maps, actually, Haven and then Icebox, is when they played at Iceland, which was the opening match of Reykjavik, when we kicked off all of LAN for Valorant, that's where we started. Haven and then Icebox for these two, and it was a 2-0. So not only is this a very important match just in terms of the tournament conditions by themselves, but it's a rematch here for KRÜ, and they want revenge as well.
I like you bringing the rematch back up, but Jess, the important thing to note there is there's one really large difference, a change in the roster for KRÜ. Kesnit coming into the lineup and has as well been one of the top performers on this roster, and a big reason why they're here to get that rematch against FNATIC.
I likened it to sort of bringing in someone who brings a sort of fresh perspective on how the game is played, because Kesnit does that. It's the way that he is able to position himself, and he paces himself in a round, understands his utility can be used in unison rather than just solo, and we'll see whether or not the agent he picks here today on this map, because it won't be a mirror matchup. It shouldn't have been a mirror matchup. Baller, it shouldn't have been.
Yeah,
It's not quite. Because we do still have double duelists on the side of KRÜ with the Reyna.
Sure, but
we
where's
do
the
have,
Raze?
FNATIC is swapping off of the Raze that they have played or
Baller,
did
I just
play
did a
last
segment
time.
on
Looks
this,
like
bro.
the paint shells aren't that important.
Come on, man. FNATIC's like, we love that, Jess, but no.
Yeah, it's Haven, and I actually think that specifically against KRÜ, you do need a jet hopper, right?
Okay.
Just the way that they play.
Matchup.
And I honestly think that that was kind of one of the reasons why Sentinels wasn't they had obviously 10s playing the jet still, but they were not quite finding that value out of the op when you have people who are eventually going to be dry swinging based off of the lowered amount of utility that you have.
All right, well, we got the comps locked in.
Yeah.
I want to know where the two of you stand on this. Do you match with Redgar's head or Redgar's heart? Is it FNATIC or is it KRÜ coming out in this quarterfinal?
I hate to do this, but my heart and my head are with FNATIC.
No!
Damn,
No, man!
I was setting a precedence of like, if KRÜ was gonna do it, they're gonna do it today, and this is gonna be the first map, and like that was the hype in my head. Unfortunately, Dash, they have to do it on map 1, or I don't see them winning this series at all.
Okay, but do they do it? That's what I want to know.
Pitch me at halftime. Pitch me at halftime, bro. I can't do this. I can't sit here and be
All
like,
right,
yes.
well, I've got the faith. I'm going with KRÜ on this one if they can take down Sentinels and if they've got the kind of energy coursing through their veins that they had when they achieved that upset. I think that's the kind of team that could come in and really throw FNATIC for a loop.
That's what it's going to take. That is 100%. It needs to be heart. It needs to be energy. It needs to be faith from everybody right here. And I know we don't have a crowd, but still, they're going to feel it from here, even though everybody's at home.
I can't sit here and give you a genuine prediction because I don't know what that looks like. How does that feel, them sitting in their chair going, we're going to have to do a major upset against this team? We have no stats. We have no history other than the Sentinels game to look forward to. But I'm like 50%. I can't do a double.
Okay.
Just a 1 for now. And if we get to halftime and things are looking good, I might raise my right hand.
Don't get me wrong. I would still, by far and away, consider it an upset, right? I mean, it is. I mean, naturally, it's the 1 versus the 2 seed, right? But beyond that, just from the level of play, the consistency and cleanliness by which we've seen from FNATIC, again, talking about their composure and just finding that extra gear here on LAN, I think that is going to be a tough thing to dismantle. Whereas when you look at the Sentinels upset, Sentinels is a team that has been hot and has been cold. They have looked fallible in the past, and so if you catch them in the right way and on the right day, you can absolutely take them down.
Yeah, but I think the big thing here for KRÜ is that it's a little bit extra pressure because they're not done meeting their expectations here. They made it to this part already. They've gotten to the quarterfinals losing to G2. So for them, yeah, they already hit an upset. And sure, that was the best thing that any of the minor regions has done against a major region. But they still have to make it past the quarterfinals, and that was their goal to start off.
I'm just looking at the nitty-gritty here, doing a little bit of micro-analysis, and we turned around and we said that FNATIC likes to read into their opponents. They had days to watch things here. Well, if they have watched KRÜ, they'll know that they're an A-heavy team by far. Hitting A over and over and over again. That is a lot of the win condition on this map for KRÜ. So if there's predictableness, I'm already reading it, and I'm only looking at one stat. Is there more that FNATIC has been able to do in this time? They're the team to do it, so I'm worried for KRÜ. Don't be slapping what you've been doing previously, even though it's worked. I don't think it'll work when FNATIC know your game plan.
Well, then you're looking at your man Boaster there, right? To have figured that out and to be bringing the strats to the squad here today. On the point about expectation, though, Ball, I like that you bring it up, and I just want to take that and kind of zoom out to a macro perspective, which is if getting past the quarterfinals already is the expectation for KRÜ in terms of that next step, my God, what that says about kind of just the global level of competition and how it has risen throughout this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it matches based off of what they've done so far, so it's not necessarily a expectation that's based in reality, I think. That's kind of where I want to go with that, but it's still one that I think is achievable for them, and they're pushing for it. So, I mean, to get back to the original question, the expectation might be that for KRÜ, but they're going up against FNATIC, and this is the hardest battle that they've ever had.
Yeah.
And by the same token, maybe a little bit of a chip on the shoulder of FNATIC as well, right? Because this is a team came to Reykjavik, missed out on Masters 3, and so when we talk about that expectation, I don't want to misrepresent as we talk about how good they are and how far we expect that they're able to go, but they are going to have to still show us that they can do it with their play. The players are ready to dive into the server for Map 1 Haven. We've got Riv and Doug standing by for the call. Gents, enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Dash. Riv, we will enjoy it rather thoroughly. And as we think about this matchup specifically, yes, there's the stakes, one semifinal spot left on the line, but Riv, we haven't seen FNATIC in a long time.
Yeah, 12-3, 6 days. It's been a while, but they've had a lot of time to look at everybody else and see what they might have to put on the table. The last time we did see them, that were all three, it was what? Haven, Icebox, and Fracture. We see a few of those in here, except the Fracture, it's going to be split in the end, so who's tested on that if we get to the third map? We're going to start it out on Haven. Oh, I've been waiting to see this game all day. That first series got me so pumped up seeing every single region bring their A game. And that, Doug, that's, I think, what's going to have to happen as well for KRÜ. Digging deep into the individual skill level of each player here, because we know FNATIC handles their own, even if the teamwork isn't there.
And not only were they digging deep into individual gameplay, but they just dug deep into A long, right? Yes. You just saw him, or Nagzed, excuse me, off of the smoke from Delsic, takes all of that space down long. I want to see if they do end up rotating that way. You've got the alarm bot out from Magnum, so I hesitate to think that that is where they want to go, but they could just be expecting aggression from an opponent.
Standing ahead.
FNATIC says we are perfectly fine to feel this out. How aggressive do KRÜ want to be? And that is FNATIC definitely reading how KRÜ has played the early rounds on a lot of maps. C is hardly what we've seen from any team throughout the tournament, but that's going to be a first here for FNATIC.
Flash comes through as Durka dashes forward. He's been an absolute menace up until now, and he continues as he's already gotten two onto Delzic and Klaus, and off of that, FNATIC are going to have full C-side control, get the spike down. Only two left on the side of KRÜ here to open up this bad boy, and that might be all they need as Kaznik gets one with the Ghost. And that Reyna, man, that Reyna in pistols is so good. And she has light armor. Well, had light armor. It's gone now, along with the rest of the health. The Star Duelist battle that we've highlighted, first round, goes to Durka.
It does indeed go to Durka, and he just seems to have, like, this playoff feature. Well, you'll see him going crazy. I feel like we always see him towards that sewer area, picking up a first frag. If something hasn't happened in the round, that's where you can kind of go for a little bit of comfort. Here, they lost Mystic early, but they were already in the site. They didn't need the controller to hold it, and FNATIC come out with that first round.
KRÜ only bringing a Marshal into this next round, and they do have a Sheriff, it looks like, in the hands of Kesnet. So that was the one thing that we talked about. The desk highlighted it as well, man. If Kaznet's on one, there's a chance for something special here. But like he's got to have a pop-off performance. Really, Riv, as you were mentioning at the beginning of the series.
He really does, especially to bolster the rest of the team and make them feel good about pushing forward. The eco round here, Delzik does pick up a frag on the side of KRÜ, but it looks like it's going to be a quick 1, 2, 3, 4. Nagzet will be the 5th for this FNATIC second round.
Yeah, showing up a bit late here. You can tell as they wanted to go back to C. We saw it in the previous round. They feel confident, at least pseudo-confident, up until this point in their ability to hit C through a garage split. It just hasn't netted very much success. And yes, this round can be heavily attributed to the fact that they didn't have any guns to fight back with. Semantics, really.
Yeah, you could go there.
But yeah, for KRÜ, that has been their MO early on.
Yeah. And it excites me to get into that first gun round. I said I was ready for this matchup. I'll tell you why, is because both of these teams subscribe to their own way of playing. They don't sit there and say, how can we counter this? How can we counter that? It's head-to-head when it comes to what they feel like they can do. Nag's doing a little bit of damage. Mystic goes down for another round. He'll be on the rebuy, maybe hurting the Astra util a little bit, but first gun round shouldn't mean too much. Everyone should have what they need here, and KRÜ will look to try and grab one in their favor.
So we mentioned Durka a couple of times already. You see he's gotten a great start to this map, 4-1 at the very beginning of things. And I want to see how they choose to set up. Again, it looks like we're going to end up at least on the western half of the map in some form or fashion. And that's the thing. If KRÜ continues to take this long control on the defensive side, then yeah, they can continue to hit that other side just fine.
And with Mystic going down, you can actually see it affected a bit. He goes for Ghost, so he can keep the amount of stars the team needs to get through this gun round. Let's see where they decide to push. Again, very patient, absorb anything KRÜ will give them.
Well, and it seems like that's what they're prepared for, right? Like they've been waiting for this aggression to come out. We mentioned the alarm bot round 1, the turret out to point right at garage as well. Like they're waiting for some of that to come their way.
KRÜ says not this time.
Yeah, no, not now.
Spikle is down over there by the hay bales, just into grass and mid. And again, third round, they go up the gut here. And this is actually towards the KJ util. So they're fine to go with that, test out what Klaus has for them. And util for the drone is going to be first off, and it is a follow coming in from Magnum.
Oh, that's a great start.
Yeah, it's a great start.
From Delzik, we'll see if the gravity walk, no, he's able to walk away from it. You saw the Rain-Alir go up as well as Delzik tries to stay back sight, tries to stay alive. His position's been given away, though. You still got Spectres, a Spectre and a pistol on the side of FNATIC. Certainly not what they want to bring into this, but Durka. Oh, it's Delzik, you're right. Mazzino goes up top. They clean things up. KRÜ on the board.
Such a quiet but accurate round from KRÜ. FNATIC didn't want to push through their own smokes. They felt like they had the aggression on the front side of the site. Backside didn't need to be worried about. And what in the world? Delzik coming through to pick up a few for himself as the team just swarms in and takes that site. Great job by KRÜ to pick one up for themselves here. And now FNATIC is pushed back onto another altered buy. We'll see how they get through this one.
Yeah, I was actually just about to draw attention to that. You can see how economy has kind of impacted
they switched it to guns.
Up until this point. Yeah, they just bought up. You can tell even through that, considering perhaps a Guardian or something of the such, weren't fully convinced. I like the spot that's been taken away from Kesnet. He's made his way all the way into Cubby, and Riv, I don't know that the drone spotted him. Oh, the drone didn't spot him. Durka drops. He's able to get away.
Uses the smoke against them. Nicely done. And Doug, with KRÜ picking up a few here, I also feel like FNATIC is trying to condition them to say, oh, we love C this map. We super love C. And we'll see if they start to trend away from that so far, because they have been shut down on their way in so far.
And there's a pinch that we've been waiting for from Nagzet, but Domo's ready for it, right? Like, they were waiting for that pressure to come in from A. Finally, we see some of that manifest itself, and they handle it just fine. Now, off of that, it seems like they want to lean into that, off of that pick they had onto Nagzet, try to go over towards A. They are 1 point away from Kesnet having the Empress online, and they do have a decent amount of utility to work with.
Flash comes in. Stars are down there from Mystic, and they're going to be able to take the site pretty handily. It should be 300 across the team if they get this plant down. And they're going to hesitate it for a moment. Fake plant to see if they can draw anyone out. And now they're just giving time for KRÜ to rotate at this point. This is going to be even tougher.
I don't know. I do like the setup that they have, but yeah, this is Interesting, they're just letting the clock burn down. Keznich drop. They want to feel a bit more comfortable before they go down. A couple of kills go either which way. Mazzino still playing up top. He gets dropped. Klaus on the swing. The spike isn't able to go down. I don't know if they're going to have time. Boaster swings out as well. Klaus gets 4 for KRÜ as we're tied up at 2 apiece.
Klaus gets 4. Doug, that's not something we say often. Usually Klaus is a final rotator with the team, being the one to kind of trade the kills, but for him to be coming up right off the bat is huge because you can still expect Nags and Keznit to be doing some work. FNATIC don't find the answer they want as they head to C. It goes to A, and they really just seem flustered to get it down. So many conversations maybe going on there that didn't work.
1 enemy remaining.
This is a big pickup.
You mentioned Klaus is normally one of the late rotators.
Yeah.
Right? And technically, in this case, he still was, right? The round just took so long.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that by the time he showed up, everything was still before him. He still had a shot at everything. FNATIC on a light buy here. A very light buy, but the Blade Storm for Durka, we just saw him with a couple of blades. Kez still has some to work with. Great start out from Keznit.
Instantly towards that garage area. A second one for him. They used the drone to clear that last time and get him in safe, but it's going to be a 1-2-3. Doug, it was too fast. I'm sorry. We had to just keep going.
No,
3-2.
Listen,
holy KRÜ.
Prime gaming flawless coming out for KRÜ, and it was off of the fact that FNATIC didn't have much to buy.
No.
Right? I think I want to say I saw 2 sheriffs, but other than that, it was just classics, right? Like they couldn't punch back in a meaningful way, and it was off. And really, once Keznit had that opener in garage that we just saw, it really was kind of easy picking there, right? Like we've seen this garage long split. What? 3 rounds now?
Yeah. Maybe it's the conditioning. Maybe they actually feel like there is a mold to break there of KRÜ's defense. We'll have to see it. Now it just seems like they're setting up across a default instead of really pushing themselves into grass right away on the side of FNATIC.
And it doesn't look like Magnum had enough to buy a turret. That's why we don't see it planted up on garage like we've seen the last couple of rounds. C doesn't have it in his inventory as well.
Yeah.
Seeker's coming out. Oh, Mazzino's taking a decent spot, though. He's going to challenge this. Durka's already on the site. There was Mazzino. He's able to get one, but FNATIC managed to get onto the site, managed to find the opening that they need to establish control, and this time, the spike goes down much faster.
That's a bit more of the FNATIC we're used to seeing. They just take the space. Yeah, there's a bit of util used, but there's confidence in the shots. They get the opening angles, and now they have the post plant. What can KRÜ do? The 3v4 is set up.
See the lockdown coming out.
Oh, is there a molly?
That might have. No, Keznit's going in. Keznit's able to get one.
Predicts a second, maybe. Comes in. Klaus again. Good for another.
Oh, you can tell he kind of wants to swing. Durka's in a great spot, though. Durka's able to get the third. Klaus on the tap. Isn't able to hold it. The flash in his face. He has to take the fight to FNATIC's door, and I don't know that he's going to be able to do so. His attention is divided. His interests are split. He's got to go right at him, and he's not able to do so. Durka gets the 4th. We're tied at 3.
Oh, the tight moments. Put the turret on short. Go for long. Put the turret long. Go for short. Oh, so many decisions, but FNATIC played it really well. You can't blame anyone on that for truly just getting in their own head to try and get the frags first. Great pickup kills, 3K there for Durka, and that's what I mean, just going in. This is what we're used to seeing the FNATIC team do.
Yeah, Durka's a bad dude, man. He's been farming, he's been feasting this entire tournament, and it just seems to continue, right? Like,
yeah.
And that was some of the questions that we had, Riv. Like, they'd been off for 6 days. Like, are you going to be able to carry that into this? And yeah, Durka's fine.
He's fine. He'll do great. Especially, they're saying, back on that jet. It is something that he actually brought to Haven before we saw the Rays come through in this tournament, and now he just feels confident to be that duelist to go straight in. And up the gut to be here, Doug.
Oh, that Hunter's Fury is going to be a problem. He wasn't able to get the spike down. You see Doma had to peel right back.
He had the mind game there. That should have been an easy frag. Jumping across, Klaus saves himself with a hoppy hop. Keznit and a frag.
They want to fight B, and you see on your minimap, Nags that had already taken C long. You expect some of the pressure to come in, but KRÜ have already taken B site. FNATIC are glad to give it up, though, because, again, you've got Durka. Durka's able to get a 2 out there, but that's all he gets. Boaster's in a good spot as well, waiting for that fight to come forward. They know it's coming. It's just a matter of when the lockdown comes out. Boaster's in a brutal spot. He gets dropped by Delzik, not able to land the shots. See the lockdown coming out as well. Mystic the swing. Woo! Delzik drops him. The defuse comes through as well. KRÜ take the lead right back.
4-3. so much confident pressure on the way in as they just make their way into a lockdown and say, you know what, we can finalize this round before we even have to worry about that. Also, that's the ult down for Magnum on the side of FNATIC. So the little things going the way of KRÜ can start to be that monopoly that they need. Pumped up about these rounds, feeling very good so far that they kind of have a read with just this set defense they're playing. They keep Klaus in garage. He spreads his util from garage to B. You have the utility from Delzik on C across the site, and they've been rotating really well here. FNATIC back onto an eco round.
I think that op shot went right between his legs.
Nutmeg.
Pretty sure. And you heard the Blade Storm come through for Durka as well. So he got tagged up a little bit, took some armor and some health damage. But that's still in play. We highlighted the op at the beginning of the round. You just saw that drone come through from Xeno, and off of that, Nexet can follow, take some of the space away, and try to find more of an aggressive spot with that operator. I believe he just took a shot at Boaster, too. Has to back up.
Oh, he turns around at just the last moment. Oh, my word. The cat and mouse games right now. Almost sees another one. I think they can hear that flight. If you see where Nagzet's pushed up, he should be able to hear long. So audio cues are still being given. That's kind of why you see patience and movement from KRÜ. Wow. Klaus to open up the round again, knowing they're confident to peek these angles first on the eco of FNATIC.
Do they find an opening here? It has to be off the Blade Storm, and there it is. There's an excellent start. He's going to have a chance at plenty more, too. You see the Cloud Burst, the Pop Flash right on the other side, and Durka goes in aggressive. He's able to get a second dash away.
No way.
Doma shows up for the third. Control in favor of FNATIC on a light buy with pistols. They've been able to upgrade a couple of weapons, too, to make this a bit more of a fair fight. KRÜ, with numbers against them, have to somehow figure out if they want to retake a side. I don't think they do, Riv. They have the operator, just carry it into the next round. Great round out from FNATIC on nothing.
And they pick up some weapons on this, too. Ults to be used in the next rounds. And they now have gone towards A. They conditioned a few rounds to C. And that time they found just Delzik there for the first time. And Durka, there's I don't know how to put it. I say there's like a fear that he's the only one being able to open everything up and get these frags. Like, how much can he continue to do that, right? Doma was able to come up with a kill there, but it seems like it's all been on the back of Durka so far. I mean, he loves that pressure, but how often is that going to work now?
Well, and it's not even about not just loving the pressure, but I think the composition is built for it, right?
It's
and I think FNATIC have done such a good job of giving Durka that space to do his thing.
13-5.
Yeah, exactly. The Astra utility, the Sky utility as well. They've done such a good job of giving him the space, allowing him to do Durka, right? And it's worked.
He does. The last time these two played at the Reykjavik quarterfinals, he had a hell of a game as well. Even better towards Icebox, and we'll talk about it when we get there. But here on Haven, starting to put up the rounds and keeping FNATIC at 4-4 as we start off round 9. A bit of this mid control once again with the turret to make sure KRÜ's not doing that mid push, and then FNATIC can set up.
They may not be doing the mid push, but they did the A push again.
Great call.
You saw Nagzet, and it was also Kesnet who took short. But the alarm bot? Yeah, the alarm bot should give him away. Blade Storm doesn't land.
KRÜ is doing these little things where they pressure short, they're pressure long. It's really great to see how your opponents are going to react to things, make them play a little sweaty, a little off the regular strat they want to run. And now space being given up and space being taken towards this A lobby as they use the stars to get themselves to safety.
Now remember, Nagzet has that Blade Storm. Had to give some of the space back up off of the Trailblazer, and again, FNATIC find themselves going back to this C split that we've seen a couple of times through Garage.
Nice Molly utility, keeping it out. Delzik with another spam through the smoke, and the Phantom doesn't give FNATIC any idea of where it's coming from.
And the Nano Swarm delayed their exit out of Garage. Now they want to continue to push forward, but the thing is, KRÜ has already arrived. The reinforcements are here. The Hunter's Fury is coming out, but FNATIC are able to find the openers that they want. Boaster gets one, gets a second with the Hunter's Fury, as well as FNATIC take the lead again, and they're going to get the money off the plant. That was gorgeous.
You know what's great, Doug, is when you get an answer to your question the next round. Can they do it without Durka? Hell yeah, they can. They absolutely wipe the site as they work their way into C. Durka goes down to a spam through the smoke, and the team's still confident to make it work. Now he's got the operator. This could get scary from the side of FNATIC.
Well, and for KRÜ, you've got nothing but pistols, right? You've got a little bit of armor in Kesnet, Delzik, and Mazzino, but other than that, They don't have much as far as guns go, so you start to feel some of this shift as far as momentum and as far as how they're going to be able to balance things out. This gun round is a big deal as we near the end of this first half. KRÜ goes in aggressive, and it's traded. That's a win if you're in the pistol.
Little spammy spam there. Found one through the box. And that's slowly a weapon to pick up. Mystic very right to watch that angle to make sure they don't lose his gun.
Klaus, what are you up to? Klaus, what are you up to?
Klaus. Just really playing outside the Klaus norm that we have seen him play. I love the aggression coming out of him right now. It's going to be Dirk into the site. Dashing in, doesn't care if somebody's a foot from him. He'll use this operator exactly how it needs to be used.
Man, you can tell they do such a good job of Doma flashing just on the other side of Dirka's Cloud Burst. We mentioned it, I believe it was in the previous round, and you see how some of this, like, they've ran these setups, right, playing off of each other's utility so many times. It's so clean when they do that. The spike goes down.
Do they do it?
And they did upgrade 2 weapons, too. The lockdown comes out. They're going to have to give that space up.
Great call. The weapons make the consideration viable to put that lockdown, since they can now trade through the smoke that's going to be put up by Mystic. Kind of suck them or push them off, pull them away from the spike, and make sure that they will not have anything. Doma, that's exactly what he needs to do. And you know Dirk has got the operator right behind. Oh, Nagzet, you have your work cut out for you with 6 bullets.
Nagzet, go fight, guy.
2 triple double dink. Triple double dink and you're good. He doesn't have to on Dirka, so he could save some rounds. Oh, Dirka's gonna take him out.
The triple double dink, of course. It's so easy.
Obviously. We grow up learning that. Another round for FNATIC. Do they start to separate themselves? Now that eco was just enough room for them to find how to stack the economy and get this read constantly out of garage. I think we'll see that be somewhere that is going to be a first touch for both teams as they back off to see if they can get the first kill from that. Dirka gets more kills. He's just going to be setting up Blade Storm real fast, too. He's already almost halfway there.
Doma looks really good bald.
He understands the buff that comes with it.
I mean, it works. Some people can't do it. Doma can.
I don't know. Maybe we need to try.
No.
Okay.
No shot.
Oh.
Maybe if NA wins this tournament, I'll try it.
Did they see him? Oh, he's out. Nags that dash. Ooh. I like that. We're keeping our hair. So still towards the middle. A very big push by FNATIC towards A, but I love how they're hovering the backside of the map to say, you know what? It's almost 6-6. Let's grab these few rounds. How are KRÜ playing these final ones? Are they pushing? No, they're not.
Well, and the thing is, we've talked about how KRÜ have taken this space so many times. FNATIC this time taking the fight to them, going into the space that they understand that KRÜ is taking the space, right? Nagzet has swung out into spawn a couple of times to take a challenge. We mentioned Doma was wise to it a couple of rounds ago, so they understand this has been KRÜ's plan. Oh. They're going to push into it. You see the Cosmic Divide coming out, but they want to go anyway. Dirka gets the opener. Dirka gets a second, but he's not able to get much more as Vizino trades it out. But FNATIC still with the numbers that they need. It's all onto Klaus and Delzik, and they're nowhere near the site.
Dog, that was such a sick molly. Magnum threw a molly from long over to the short spot, hit Nagzet, and they almost got him on a gravity well too. Just little things that combined there for utility just push KRÜ off the site. FNATIC, that was awesome.
And off of this KRÜ, you can tell they're just going to save, maybe try to find some exits, but understanding that we're so near the end of the first half, carry those rifles in.
Yeah.
Economy has to be in pretty dire straits here for KRÜ. Remember, just 2 rounds ago, last round, excuse me, this is the last round, they only had pistols.
It is. It does seem like they're kind of scrounging up whatever change they can from those couch cushions here. And FNATIC is going to pressure out towards long together. And respect for KRÜ there, too. And you say, yeah, we can get guns out of their hands, but they can do quite a bit of damage to us as well. 7-4 now. FNATIC putting a little more gas into their executions here. And here, thank you so much, Obs. I love you. And it hits right as he's up in that position, too. He's like, oh, snap. I can't get out of this. Whew.
It's just not working.
Yeah,
it hasn't worked. The last couple of, really the last 4 rounds, as you can see on the timeline, have been so heavily in favor of FNATIC. It seems like they have finally figured out the sauce that KRÜ have been working around.
Yeah.
And FNATIC, they've just kind of had their way. And look at the buyout from KRÜ. That's why we saw them save the way they did. You have 2 Spectres and a Bulldog.
Get Mazzino this alt orb now. Protection comes out. He squats, he grabs. All right, Hunter's Fury is there. Now play the post plant. Play, hey, how much util can we make them use before they get in? And can Kesnet get a pop-off shot? He does. Instantly peeking out. Like I said, that garage door is a big first touch point for each of these rounds. And again, it comes into play for KRÜ. Minute coming up onto the clock, so a lot of time. We have not seen the teams wearing down the clock to the last few seconds, but we may see that pressure round come out in just a few here. Jump peek. Jump peek kind of alerts the opponent to someone's also there. You're usually not jumping if you're the only one in sight, so they can almost infer there's a bit of a lean towards the C side, and you see FNATIC start to change what they were going to do.
Right here.
This feels like a very dangerous pinch if you're FNATIC. You've got Kesnit, who's already in garage, and you have Nagset, who still hasn't given that space back along that he took earlier. A couple of pings coming out on the minimap, presumably understanding that Nagset is likely pushing forward. They're going to go towards B, and they're going to have that turret to work with. Seekers come out. Oh, what a great start out from Durka. That should open things up so well.
No Hunter's Fury for the last round. The Alt Orb was a focus, and they're able to drop it right away. They're just taking the options out of KRÜ's hands, one after the other, and there's the members going down. Boaster strangling the side. Doma gets a frag for himself, and Doug, it's only going to be one more as they round out that one. 8-4 on the first half.
And this is honestly kind of what I was hoping to see out for FNATIC, given how seemingly on thin ice top teams have been in this tournament.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to walk into this series, and you've got to be able to do so cleanly, avoid any potential disaster and heartaches that shouldn't have to happen, or heart attacks. It's just been very well handled by FNATIC to kick off this first half.
Boaster getting boasty there. You can see the rest of the squad as well. Definitely starting to come online as the map started to get further and further in. And I mean, who can come out with the power at halftime?
We're going to throw it over to Dash and the rest of the folks on the desk to break down the first half. Dash?
Thank you so much, Doug. Took them a couple rounds to find their rhythm, but FNATIC, they do get there. They string 5 in a row together to end the half at 8-4. So what started working? What changed? What did they find?
I like the fact that Riv pointed out that they were trying to condition KRÜ. Okay, we're trying to hit C, we're trying to hit C, and I said on the pre-desk that for KRÜ, they love to hit the other side of the map. Whereas conversely, FNATIC, they are known 9 times out of 10 to be able to go push C, especially throughout this tournament. The 80+% of their plans have been over to C. So for them to go, this isn't working for us, this is what usually works, let's change it up or do a bait and switch, then they started to find the rhythm of what was going on in that map.
Yeah, but they clearly needed time. I mean, there were so many blunders in that first, 5 rounds or something like that. Honestly, Durka is the guy that got them out of it because he was consistently hitting his shots and getting in positions to save rounds over and over. You think about the bad drone, you think about the bad spike tossing around similar to this where they're on A and he tosses it from dark trying to get it down. So much good stuff from Durka, but after that, FNATIC started heating up. That double molly was beautiful.
It wasn't even until round 6 where they stopped doing this weird bait, plant, peek us please, through the smokes, do something, use your utility. It was odd to me because usually when you have site control and you know there's no ultimates to stop you getting that plant down, why not just plant it? Why are you baiting it out? I mean, your players are going to be there for the crossfire anyway. Do you really feel your gun is going to be superior to the crossfire of your teammates? Not until round 6, that's when I felt the momentum shift for their attacks, and they worked out the fact that they're not, as predictable as they necessarily need to be.
18 kills for the man Durka across 12 rounds. We had asked the question, why swap from Raze to the Jet, but the Jet seems to be working for him. I do think, though, that they needed that from him, as we mentioned, with the slow start to carry them through a number of rounds that could have gone the other way. And to throw some assurances out there to KRÜ fans, they were down with only 4-round wins on the defensive half against Sentinels, then brought it back to a win when they swapped to the attacking half. So we'll head back to Riv and Doug to see what they've got as they move over to offense.
Thank you so much, Dash. Yeah, FNATIC have shown that they're pretty formidable on the attacking half, but as he said, can KRÜ find any semblance of success? And the thing is, Riv, they're going to have to do it quickly because this is going to get out of hand if they don't.
Yeah, it's true. FNATIC grabs this first pistol round, and it seems like they may have almost sealed the deal with the pace they are at here coming into the second half. No, it's going to be KRÜ on attack. They get to put that a big aggression that they may have wanted to put on defense out. Instill that fear into FNATIC.
This is really interesting. I like how KRÜ are taking B. The spike is still back towards spawn. I think if they hit an opening in the link towards C, you've also got Delzik who's playing down towards C long, so they can split through that. Essentially a garage C split, but a bit wider. But it doesn't look like Kesnit was able to get the opener he was looking for on B to be able to work that. And you even see the respect out from Magnum. He pushes all the way back into defender spawn.
And this setup, too, kind of tells a story of how FNATIC has been playing a lot of their rounds, even with guns. They are fully happy to retake.
Yes, they're also fully happy to take
now
this
the
fight.
push.
You've got the utility out from the Sova. Doma goes forward. It was the drone. They were able to get what they wanted, push in, and take the space away. And now KRÜ are going to try to push right into that.
Would you expect more there? Probably not. It seems like KRÜ did. Boaster to trade one back. Boaster again! Oh my word, we just saw from him one of the final rounds. He comes up big on this one too, and they closed in on that A lobby real fast.
And I like what KRÜ was trying to do at the beginning, but you're right. Like, they dial up FNATIC, do aggression at just the right time. They play around the Sova utility to take that space away and to just say, hey, listen, we've got a lead here. We're just going to fight you. Right? And the onus is going to be on you. You better be able to fight back. They couldn't.
I think that's one of the strongest things you can do when you have a lead, especially in an FPS game, is set the tempo. Make your opponents play to what you want, whether that's the fake pushes or fake them out with a utility forward and fast. It looks like, oh, it doesn't see him. Oh, it almost baits him in, but Durka just looking for a different angle. Another shot going through. No tags coming through. He gets dropped immediately, and that's going to be a Marshall that they could pick up. A little time from now, they're going to have to wait on it.
Looks like they want to go towards C through this garage. Like we mentioned, you've got the turret as entry out from Magnum. Let them know what kind of shenanigans they're up to. And off of this, it's off of the turret contact that they just got in garage that the rest of FNATIC takes A. Again, look at how far up both Boaster and Doma are.
And the alarm bot lets them know the read's not B, so they can easily flank back to this, only expecting one person mid and the rest probably in C. KRÜ's going to do their damnedest here to push through back towards garage, and FNATIC is slowly creeping around, killing all of the possibilities, so they know KRÜ is going to be window maybe.
Oh, Magnum.
Oh dear, oh dear, he's looking sight.
Mystic has to swing out or they're not going to spot it. Oh no, he gets dropped as well.
Holy moly, the quick 1-2 from Delzik and Kesnet. Their aim is spot on for the situation. Are they going to be able to grab this round? Next it, and there's Delzik too, Doug! KRÜ snuff that second half lead from FNATIC down just a little bit, and in a huge round, that's second. Wow.
And it was that double outside of garage that really kind of opened things up, right? Like, FNATIC had the setup that they wanted, right? That should have been okay. You had Mystic and you had Magnum in a position to where Mystic can swing out and catch that, but they swing out and they just drop both of them off of those sheriffs, that we were talking about previously. That's a great answer from KRÜ. You mentioned if FNATIC win the pistol, there's a good chance it goes sideways, and it may be lost. They just punched right back.
And you could see how much FNATIC was reading that. They're like, they will push. They just had the wrong angle. Oh my word. KRÜ does love to push, and they come up with another round because of it. Now towards B. Spike is just picked up, and this is kind of a replication of their pistol round. Now with weapons, they get a little further in and stay happy to stay.
Klaus manages to get the spike down. It's just pistols and the Marshall in the hands of Durka, but FNATIC not with much to fight. They've managed to take A lobby control as they've been able to do the last couple of rounds, but the one difference is they've sent 2 down C long as well. So you've got Boaster, who's the only one really still playing towards the site. Everything else is going to be around the flank. The alarm bot's there. The Vandal's there as well. Nice shot out from Durka. He's going to re-challenge and land the shots onto Mazzino. Very well played.
He catches Mazzino in the I think I can situation, and he cannot jump out the window. That's a quick weapon for Boaster. Doesn't even want it. They're moving forward quickly here to take more space and see what they can find before grabbing the weapon. Always thinking twice before they make a mistake, as Klaus does drop the Marshall, and back and forth we go. FNATIC repairing a few of the mistakes on that one and make sure they come up with the third round of the second half.
These pistol rounds.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, these pistol rounds have been nuts.
Yeah.
Right? Like, think about the previous round that we saw, then think about this one where FNATIC almost got their way back into it.
Yeah.
Right? It was off the pressure that they were able to apply. Poor Delzik never had a chance there, and it was off of the pressure coming in from the extremities.
Yeah.
It was too much, and ultimately the time was the problem, right? Like,
I literally muted the spike in my brain as I was watching that round. Like, I did not hear beeps. That is absolutely terrible. You can take $10 off my paycheck. We're on a timeout as things need to calm down. We reset. I don't think many teams expect the second half to go back and forth when it is so close here. We can see FNATIC chatting it up to make sure they're covering the right things, playing a bit of that retake game that they love so much, as KRÜ have found a way under their skin here.
Well, Riv, I hesitate to say that, and the only reason I hesitate is because this is what we saw at the beginning of the first half.
That's true.
Right? Like, it was a little bit back and forth. FNATIC figured out what was happening on the side of KRÜ, and they were able to run away with it in a pretty considerable manner, right? So I wonder if this is a bit of the same, right? Like, KRÜ, FNATIC are feeling them out. It's all right. Give them a couple of rounds. See what it looks like, right? See what they're throwing at you, and then you adapt.
15 seconds left on this timeout. All of KRÜ coming together in these few rounds. We saw a lot of what Klaus was doing in the beginning. A little bit of Kesnit, Nags coming up with their frags here. Team for KRÜ definitely has to come together as a whole when we see their wins. They don't really have a Durka that will always go off, right? Nagzat can be there for a bit, but it does seem like Kesnit, thank you. Sorry, that's actually the name I meant to say. But it does seem like it requires more of the team to be behind that for KRÜ. See what they have for this round 16. This time we do see Magnum playing over towards the A side, just keeping that bot in garage covered with his distance.
And you can tell Domo's trying to run over to clear out the drone so that Durka would be able to stay there undetected, never get spotted. Domo just shows up a bit late, and off of that, Durka has to give that space back, right? Like, he's not able to hold that angle anymore.
And instantly, they just say, hey, we'll retake fully on A. Don't want to lose just one member on the way in. It's not worth it. And the spike will rotate towards A for Klaus.
And it's actually those minor, those like split-second tiny things, right? Like, if Doma shows up a bit earlier, the drone is clear, Durka can stay in the spot, potentially gets one, maybe even more. But off of that, KRÜ take the space, and it's because of that that they're able to open up and get the spike down on A.
Oh, Delzik, how much damage can you do? You can make or break this round with your positioning right now, and one frag is his. Now, FNATIC have to worry about a little bit more than just the retake.
And the problem is Mizzino's there as well. The smoke kind of keeps him alive for now, as Dome is able to take care of him. Kesnit falls as well, but Delzik still has to be dealt with. Oh, Delzik, they don't know! They don't know! Delzik gets a third!
As long as he can stay alive up top, Nags doing what he can now from Hell. They have the rotation from Long. It's going to be the 2v1.
Delzik had nothing doing, man. He had his heroics at the beginning of the round when the element of surprise was still a factor, but ultimately, I mean, they probably should have known he was there after the first kill. The kills 2 and 3 probably shouldn't have happened, but once they knew exactly where he was coming from, that 1v2 gets so much more difficult, and he was so weak as well.
So well orchestrated. FNATIC is not saying we'll send 3 from the front, 1 from the back. They are flanking with 2, executing from the front side with 2, and making sure all bases are covered here. Oh my word.
Was that a go back home?
I think so. Warm up the bus. They don't want to warm it up just yet. 6-10. They are still very much in this one. Back to weapons here. Alt points just on the cusp here for Kesnit and Klaus. Mizzino close as well if he can get some frags this round, and Delzik can do a lot with the Cosmic Divide. Can they roll these together into a few rounds here on the second half? It seems like FNATIC has a bit of a groove and a read on what KRÜ is doing.
They've again managed to take some space off of the utility from Mizzino, right? Once again, Durka gets pushed off. They're not able to hold that angle anymore. And Riv, you mentioned retake for FNATIC. It looks like exactly what they're trying to do. A heavy dose of pressure dialed up. C, that's going to get Boaster's Hunter's Fury online.
Putting multiple things on their plate, why not?
Well, and it's interesting, I'm actually really surprised that KRÜ allowed that much space to be given up, knowing that Boaster was 1 point away from the Hunters.
True. See, their focus, that's kind of like what I said before, is that they play their own games. They're focused on where they want to go and how they want to play it. No mollies there for Magnum to throw into the corner. And it looks like the lockdown will disperse the site. How's it going to happen?
I've been waiting. That's what I was waiting for. The Hunter Fury to clear that out. That's going to allow their lockdown to go out. Seekers are coming out as well. And you've got Mystic, who's crept his way up towards B. He's going to get a good pinch on it if he gets the timing just right, but he's going to have to hurry up because the rest of the crew are starting to work their way onto the site. You see they're trying to fight forward, but Magnum shows up in his lap. Klaus is able to do a bit of the same as well. It's a 1v2, all that remains. Kesnit, he's got his work cut out for him. The spike ticking away. He's able to isolate it to a 1v1. Boaster goes forward. Kesnit lands the shots. A Red Bull clutch. Vamos, KRÜ.
That was an incredibly big round for KRÜ. They would have been on an eco. 11 for FNATIC. Pressured with their backs against the wall for round 12. That saves the day for now, Doug.
Kesnet, bro. You were highlighting, what was it, a round ago, 2 rounds ago? Like Kesnet, whenever, like, it's hot and cold for Kesnet, right?
Yeah.
It's not consistent, but the hot is hot. It's very hot.
Oh, it gets there quick. Definitely singeing a little bit of the edge there. Boaster goes down, can't hit him coming out of the dismiss. And another round for KRÜ as they... The thing is when KRÜ is finding these rounds, it's so touch and go to the last second as Doma starts this one off with just that to Kesnet.
See how much more damage they can do with these Sheriffs. Or the Frenzy. Frenzy works too.
Yeah.
Right? I'll take that.
Trade it up, get a Phantom. Now we got a Phantom and 2 Sheriffs with a Blade Storm.
KRÜ have managed to find an opening towards B. And you see off of that, they're not just content to take the space, they want to take the fights too. And
word.
Perhaps a bit of regret coming through there as Boaster just decapitates Mizzino.
He's had these sneaky spots. We saw it in Garage. He got the click on the Kesnet, grabbed that gun. Quick Sheriff shot there for Boasty, and he picks up another one. 3v2. The retake is something they are not a stranger to. Oh, no. Cannot get the dash out.
Here we see these Phantoms really make a difference. It's just Mystic who had that Phantom. He finds himself in a 1v2. Boy, I thought. The
transfers this event have definitely surprised us. That one coming up just short there as KRÜ does make the shots count, but a beautiful attempt by FNATIC. 10-8 as KRÜ starts to close that score gap. And you see on the squad, as I said before, with those kills, it's everybody participating. Yeah, we'll have Kesnet come up once in a while, but usually you don't see that top Durka score for a team like KRÜ. They all come together. That's when you see the powerhouse of this team.
Heavy defensive lean from FNATIC towards C. You see they've got 4 players over there, and it's just Doma who's playing towards A. And yeah, they have the Killjoy utility to hold B, but you can tell they had a sneaking suspicion that that's where the play was going to go.
Drone clear. Just makes it out. Nice check on the angles. Look, a discipline there. And KRÜ knows they've been able to take free space here. I almost wonder if that's like scarier when they get in. It's all too quiet to know what FNATIC has to throw back at them, and it is a gun round. The operator, the guiding light, as you see Sky just coming in with Doma there. As they take to the skies, KRÜ has a minute left in the round. That's changed to 45 with the spike down.
All right, so this time they're pushing in through window. You see the drone coming out from Boaster, but you still have Delzik in a really good spot to blow this up. You've also got Mizzino on the pinch. Timing is going to be so big on this Riv as Delzik creeping his way forward. Delzik coming up through the smoke, able to get a second. Mystic stops it for now, but FNATIC still have to get onto the site. They still have to take it back from KRÜ and then get the defuse. That's a great start out from Durka, but how much more have you got? They're still playing on the site. Klaus gets opener. Spike ticking slowly but surely. Kesnet's able to get a second. I don't know that FNATIC left themselves much time to this at all, Riv.
Hunt him down. Look, Kesnet smells blood in the water. Can he find it? Oh, the alarm bot comes back online. Klaus had just come in close enough, but it's not going to be the play. Oh. Being the one to be able to see through the wall, man. You're just like, if you had pulled the trigger there. Wow. 10-9 here. A great job by KRÜ to continue to string these rounds together and throw FNATIC for a loop. I wonder if it will be as easy for them to make their way into the site now. Again, another round for everyone to have a bit of a showing for KRÜ too. Delzik, Klaus, the coach. Feeling good. The vibes on KRÜ coming in hot right now. Ooh, you like these? The 3-set timeout. FNATIC wants to just get back in the round. I said, no. Let's recoup of how we are winning these rounds.
And I'm actually really excited to see what KRÜ show on the other side of this break, right? Like, you've got momentum, you've bridged the gap down to 1, Riv. You were mentioning just a couple of rounds ago that they've managed to fight their way back into this. So you call a timeout at a moment like this and you go, you've got to have something really special dialed up, right? Because this is a you go for the jugular.
Absolutely.
KRÜ, right? Like, you're hitting something good here.
And the conversation could also be play your game. Who did we just beat on this map? Sentinels, 13-11. Why not do it again? Ride that history. Make it more, right? KRÜ has that possibility. The strength we've already seen coming into Haven. And it's their pick. They chose this. They're ready to come in hot on it. So See if they can close these last few rounds. 3 in a row for them, their own timeout, and we're getting it around 20.
And it is going to be a fast hit. They have the Hunter's Fury in Mazzino's pocket, and this is a 5-stack C. We haven't seen this, but the thing is, it's also pistols on the side of FNATIC. It's just the operator in the hands of Dirk, and he's not there.
Setting up for one of their first fast Cs, or at least a full C with all 5 here in No One Garage. All the stars are down on the backside of the site. Mystic picks one up, delivers a little bit of medicine back that FNATIC was receiving down that C-long.
And off of that, it was off of the gravity well.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was so hard. The gravity well, and then the opener out just kind of stuffs that push. And it wasn't just that Keznit dropped. They weren't able to get the ult orb into Delzic's hand, so the Cosmic Divide is not online. And both, really, Mazzino, Naxit, and Klaus all took serious damage. The oomph behind that push, gone.
A little deflated. You're absolutely correct. Do they walk it up slowly? They know they're not against weapons here. Just the Sheriff Eco coming in. They up the gut, the Hunter's Fury to clear the site and make sure everything to spawn entryway is nice and clean. And this is where we see KRÜ either push or really start to take control of the flank, and Mazzino's on it.
And if there's an opener, they can drop the Cosmic Divide out from Mystic as well. That operator continues to be a problem as Dirk is able to get another one. They're just so weak. I think FNATIC can win this thing with just pistols. Yeah, it's getting worse for KRÜ.
Oh my word, Naxit does drop one.
And they've upgraded weapons. Both Doma and Magnum have, but Klaus doesn't seem to care. He's still playing backside. Oh, Magnum, you monster. Magnum comes up so big there for FNATIC. It was off of the openers they got with the Sheriffs. Gorgeous out from FNATIC.
The way that FNATIC is playing the flanks in, prioritizing so many members, it takes control for anybody also at C entry at the top side to not move. If they lose those 2 members at the top side back of C, then the 3 flanking are really not going to matter. They're going to have to strat out and go to Garage and to long C. So FNATIC is just putting so much power into these, I wouldn't say retakes, the flanks before the retake. Yeah, calling it out, saying here's the pressure, 11-9. This is going to be eco, so they can have a full buy on final, if that's the case.
And this is more of a buy than we just saw.
Yeah.
Out from FNATIC. So it's a little something, but KRÜ want to go fast. Durka has to get away through the Cloudburst, save that operator for now and reposition. But have you checked Doma? Doma's in this corner. Oh, you didn't check Doma, man! Doma's there for 2. Durka's op gets the second as well as all fall down to Delzic. As Delzic's able to get 1, but he still has 4 more of FNATIC to deal with. At this point, do you save the Spectre? Surely not, right?
Rip and roll it, man. They're going to go right for it. He sees Magnum. A good bit of damage. Armor off, right? You're asking for little things here. The whole kit and caboodle would be every kill, but that would be a Red Bull clutch for the ages, Doug. He's like, damn, I just had this gun.
Yeah. Not quite what he was looking for. Creep forward. Yeah. It was just too much. For Delzic, I mean, that would have been dang near impossible. And that gets FNATIC to map point on this opener. I think it's been a lot closer than people expected, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right? KRÜ certainly just kind of refused to go away. But off of this, we've seen it's much like the first half, Riv. Like, FNATIC, they drop a couple of rounds, but it seems like they finally figure things out, and it's at just the right time. Another timeout for KRÜ.
Only being their second round loss, it does not give them the full 2,900. They're looking at 24 that goes back into their bank account, so they were really hoping for a few frags there. And they have to bring themselves together. Icebox is not going to be any easier of a map, Doug. Last time they faced off, yeah, Dash mentioned it on the desk, it wasn't Keznit as BNJ, but Durka went off in a 10-0 first bloods.
That's not bad.
10-0 first encounters.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's okay.
Durka's only going to get better as you get to Icebox, and he's already been putting on a show here. It really requires KRÜ to be able to almost avoid him at certain points at this point. Yeah, 9 to 12, they have to. Yeah, that's the lowest hanging fruit. Avoid this guy. By the way, he's everywhere. But you're right, it has been a much closer game, albeit KRÜ kind of pressuring into those final rounds. Once they do find that groove, you're like, oh my God, they've pushed through. They've wiped FNATIC, and FNATIC seems to quickly adapt and read that. Now with the way they've been flanking, it seems to shut KRÜ down. KRÜ timeout almost over as both teams get a bit of discussion and a possible final round here of our first map of Haven before we get to Icebox.
And look at the buy again from KRÜ. Spectres.
Yeah.
So they weren't even with the lighter purchase in the previous round, it wasn't enough for them to buy full rifles into this. And it's not just the Spectres. 4 of the 5 members have light armor.
Yeah, round spent 8,300 for FNATIC, right? You have everything. You were already bolstered up. Let's see what they have. The utility is there for KRÜ. They have possibilities to vary up the way they've been playing this. Oh! Just towards the top. Nice tag out. Doesn't get anybody in garage, though. And they're going to go for, what is the pistol round variation again?
Well, and the thing is, like,
oh boy.
Yeah, look at the nanostorms, look at the setups that they had from the Killjoy utility, and FNATIC are fine to give this space up. They've shown that they're comfortable with that. Excellent swing out from Doma, a little ping pong. Gets him the opener onto Klaus. Kesnit pushing his way forward, but that lockdown could be a problem. They have to give that space back. You've got to keep an eye on Delzik on your minimap as well. He's about to get into an encounter. Magnum falls. Delzik gets that. That keeps him alive, at least for now. Doma on the defuse, though. Doma at least got it to half. Nags it. They have to go. They have to take some of this space back. FNATIC are so comfortable to just sit here. And so far, so good. They've been able to do it, but they're dancing back and forth. A 1v2. Mystic falls. KRÜ live to fight another round.
Oh, my word. Just the little tricks, the game's being played right now. Like I said, when KRÜ does pick up these rounds, they seem so wild sometimes, and they thrive in it. They're loving those situations. A few more guns back in their favor. We may see a slowdown of this round, but Doug, I feel like the pressure play from KRÜ, the speed, going quick, is the name of the game for them.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, Riv. Like, they want to go fast, right? Like you said, that's the name of the game. But FNATIC also are fine with it. They're like,
They're like, okay, we'll just back up.
Exactly, right? Like, yeah, go fast. Yeah, invest utility. We're not going to contest it, and we're going to have the utility advantage when we're fighting for the retake.
2 more rounds, we get to overtime here. That's exactly what KRÜ needed to do to take down Sentinels on this. Oh, right in the face. Kesnit in that same spot as last round, picking up these pivotal frags.
When he's hot, he's hot.
Supernova right now. This guy is exploding for the squad, and there it is again. Turns Mystic into a black hole as he goes down. Empress is up if he does need it.
He was really off of that last kill, and he continues to take space. He's pushed his way all the way into garage, into window. So FNATIC on notice here, all towards A, and they've got weapons. It seems like, I mean, they may want to save this. They still have that operator for Durka as well, and with 3v5, yes, you're getting into crunch time as far as the map goes, but it looks like they're going to want to carry that into the next one.
Man, Kesnit, he knew he had to put a bit of that backpack on, and he has just forced his way through garage. Through B last time, we actually saw him take an immense amount of damage from the mollies from Magnum as he went around the right side of the site. So, oh my word. He gets these frags, and he is feeling very good. Hunting a little bit himself, too, versus 3 members of FNATIC as the rest of the team is just hanging out.
And the 4th member, really, of FNATIC, there was the turret.
Yeah.
That managed to save the day because that got contact onto Kesnit. They knew where they knew where someone was coming from, right? And he has to kind of give that back up and give up his attempt at getting some more kills and hurting FNATIC's economy a bit more. But as you said, Riv, FNATIC, I mean, they're at the finish line.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they've had it. They've been able to at least get this far, and they've had some opportunities. But KRÜ, they've dialed stuff up at just the right time. They've been able to take the space, and as you mentioned, Kesnit just like going off, right? Going off on one. And it isn't just the kills, right? The kills are fun, the kills are flashy, but it's the space that they're able to take off of those kills that apply pressure onto FNATIC. They have to give it back.
And FNATIC sees it. They're like, wait, Kesnit's already spawned? Okay, we have to reconsider everything about rotating back over. What you're going to see in this round, ultimate for Klaus, could be picked up at the backside. Boaster's Hunter Fury takes that down, but you're guaranteed a Blade Storm and Empress.
It's an op battle. You've got Durka and Nagzet who should be able to swing out at just the right time. There, oh, Durka's not able to land anything. There's too much there. The Hunter Fury goes out as Nagzet going hunting, but no one's there again. They are able to give that space back and stay alive long enough to fight for this retake. Yes, Klaus gets the spike down.
And the Hunter's Fury is used before, but Klaus gets it with the plant. So now he can put his ult down, and they don't have Hunter's Fury to lock it out. FNATIC have to now be pressured on this retake. They're already on the flank.
And Boaster falls. The caller for FNATIC not going to be around to see this thing through, at least in normal regulation time. The pinch coming in from FNATIC. They've got 2 members in Cubby. Delzic's able to get the first. Dirk has to give that space up as well. He's pushed off the angle. The operator not finding any success, but he's going to attempt again, and the second time works just fine. But is he expecting one more? He's not. KRÜ, they look dead, but we're going to overtime.
Deja vu, Doug. KRÜ brings it to overtime once again to these powerhouse teams. They have something else in them on Haven that just gives them that energy to push it all the way, and we're going to see what kind of pressure now they can put onto the FNATIC as we're going to be switching up sides. What a last round, too. So confident the space they took, and then this time setting up a little bit more for the FNATIC flank.
Gosh, this is so dope every time.
My word. I think it's Kesnet right now holding up the world for KRÜ. Obviously, the rest of the team doing fantastic, but oh my word.
And I wonder at this point, how do FNATIC adjust on the defensive side, right? Because the retake, oh boy, forget it.
Wonder no more.
Yes, and Nags glass cannons his way into this, right? Like he has an operator, no armor.
Scary.
FNATIC don't have the same.
It's a bit of a breeze.
See, on the attacking side, we talked about the C garage split. Well, looks like they're going right back to it. But KRÜ are already rotating.
Yeah.
They know this is a really fast response out from KRÜ.
They're going very hard. The first frag, Gravity Well pulls him out though. Boaster and Magnum come up big.
Oh, Mazzino, oh, Delzic falls. Mazzino does it again. Mazzino's got a third. Magnum in the 1v2. He doesn't even have the spike. And the Hunter's Fury in this overtime round. Oh, it didn't tag him. Boy, that was close.
Right on the coattails.
And off of that, he's able to, he gets a chance to reset the round, to play things out a bit more to his pace.
This is what we used to call Gladiator. If everybody was still in spawn, you get to go out by yourself and see how much damage you could do. Well, he's forced into this Gladiator position now in a 2v1.
30 seconds left.
Or I should say that 1v2. He's got a tough task ahead of him. An operator's going to be watching a hard angle. Maybe that makes it easier for his retake if he can find one of the two. And know that op's in hand, he can push. Love the turret setup.
I want to see where he landed for that shock dart. He only had 67 health.
Hit the outer
that was
bolt.
not insignificant. 14 HP. The plant goes down.
Wait.
As the lockdown does as well.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
But he's so weak. He's so weak. And they know where he is. The jump down Mazzino from up in heaven gets the fourth on the round as KRÜ are going to get the lead in overtime and get the defuse.
For a second, I thought Nagset was just going to op it through, but then you can push Nagset if he starts to op your lockdown. So, still, last round of an overtime. Well, the only one of that half, so lockdown was the good play. And now we are switched up. Oh, my word. 13 here. Can they make it happen?
Mazzino, dude, the timing on that, the pinch in garage was so good. And then for him to manage to get the third on Dodoma as well, it wasn't just enough for him to get those two. But for him to get that kill back towards sight, it was just so good.
Here.
Jerka with an op. It's going to be a challenge down A main. Is he going to get a shot at any of it? Oh, he gave that, excuse me, it was Jerka, yeah, with the op. This is a brutal cross. Decap, oh!
No way. What a shot. Nags coming up when most needed. And he pulls the operator out of the hands of Durka here. He waits for another one, knowing that they've played two towards the end of this A lobby. So much patience from KRÜ right now. Spike's still down, and they're in positions to take a few fights here.
Enemy tagged.
I wonder how much info they get off of this drone. Wasn't far enough, and really the timing was just a bit off too. Now you see KRÜ rotating back from the space they took A to reset the round. And really, they haven't taken much space elsewhere. It's not like you've got Delzic who's made his way into Cubby on long or anything like that. But they do still have options before them, and they have the numbers advantage to work with. Oh boy.
Ooh,
Mystic.
We've seen so many of those this game. Right down C-Long with the Phantoms. He's pinged out. They're going to give the site for now.
Yeah, but it's so big because it gets it back to even numbers, and Boaster snatches that back in their favor. Mystic does as well. Boaster gets the third. We're going to dance again, Riv. We're not done on Haven.
The boa of Boaster strangling out KRÜ as they try to hit C. What a play for him to come in with 3 there. see how this happens once again. From the side, just clotheslines them.
And it was really Boaster playing around his utility, right? Like, yes, he gets the information off of the dart, but they also, as they're funneling out of long, they have to clear that out. He swings it just the right time to where their attention is focused on that. It's just easy, right? Drops them.
And Doug, again, another $10 off my paycheck. I had looked at the wrong stat. It was regulation KRÜ beat Sentinels in. So forget that overtime stuff. This is KRÜ taking FNATIC to overtime here on Haven.
Riv, you keep this up, you're not going to have a paycheck.
I know. Negative, I'll be paying everyone back. A minute 20. Lots of time to play here, but it's not going to be needed. We're already into A.
The spike dragging a bit, but that's okay. The openers have made their way onto the site. FNATIC has control. The 3 remaining members of KRÜ are going to have to do this from a retake, and you've got an exit with the operator. No armor again.
Spike plant.
Do something gross.
3v3.
And Durka's down in hell, too. Yeah, he's weak, but he's in such a good spot. You've got the turret that's going to play contact. Oh, Durka swings out just a bit. And you can tell they're going, yep, wise to where the utility would be coming from. Durka's able to stay alive. Oh, but Nagzit's off. Nagzit gets 3. We talked about how he needed to be big. Now Boaster's going to have to do this himself. Nagzit on the half. It looks like he's going to stick it, and it doesn't matter. Boaster falls. KRÜ takes the lead right back.
Let's keep going the distance. Who needs a second map? Let's just keep seeing this one going. I am so amazed how each team is able to pull off round after round to keep this one going. And I see 29 and 17 there for Durka as well. Then you have Nags putting up shots like this on the other side. Overtime, everybody's starting to step up here. And we'll have to see how this one goes for the side of FNATIC.
Placing alarm bot.
Killjoy utility set up all around B. I wonder where KRÜ are going to take this thing. They haven't, I mean, admittedly, it has been a bit back and forth, but I feel like their B hits just haven't always worked. I like this out from Durka, though. Oh, he's just not able to land the shot that he needs, and then he gets punished.
Punished more than once recently. They just seem to have his number at short or long here, Doug.
Durka, the Fiend, we highlighted him so much at the beginning of the map, and for good reason, but he seems to have fallen a bit flat here late on Haven, at least in the last couple of opportunities. Magnum playing in the smoke, waiting to see if someone's going to push forward. No one's going to take it yet. Repositions to a safe spot.
Somehow they find that first frag so many times. And I think they know Durka's going to give it to him long. Then they play it slow. The jump in, the focus, the bait. Is it enough?
Well, they know that Magnum's there. Is it going to matter? As Doma's able to take care of Kesnit. Oh, but this push comes in from long. Magnum takes care of that as well. A 3v3 left for the site. The Spike is going to have to rotate out. A, it's not safe.
Or is it? As they head back. Oh, my word. The mind games right now, Doug. The mind games. They're going to go back. They ran out just enough. So where you saw Magnum, he heard those audio cues. Now they cut audio and walk back into A to reaggress. FNATIC back to that flank position. Do they pull back, though? Yes.
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, this is... Things felt funny. They go back. Boaster's up in heaven. He has one shock dart. There it is. Right into Klaus's lap. Not enough to deny the plant.
Out of charges.
Spike ticking away. This FNATIC are going to have to fight for this retake. And again, you have Boaster who's up in heaven, and you imagine it's going to be played off of that dart. Delzik.
One after the other.
Yep. Mystic creeping his way forward. Drops the player in hell. Not able to take care of Klaus, though. Delzik gets a second. Oh, Delzik gets the third as well to clean things up. KRÜ, they take Haven. What is this?
Vamos KRÜ, that's what it is. Oh my word, what a match as well to find themselves down at the half and then put up such an aggressive half that pushed forward, that found more space and encroached onto the territory, that defensive territory that FNATIC thought they had. Round after round, it was KRÜ's, and they bring it back into overtime to take map 1. This was their pick, KRÜ's pick on Haven.
And you know, you wonder when you take down a team like Sentinels as KRÜ in a series that nobody expects to go your way, right? Like, you have the high, right? And I think the question after that is, how far can you ride that high, right? Like, how much magic is left in the tank? Because oftentimes, teams can't carry that. They fizzle out. But for KRÜ, at least for now, at least on Haven, they've managed to show that it wasn't just a flash in the pan. They're not ready to go home yet, really.
And Doug, I usually miss these. I tell myself to remember all the time. Let's think back to KRÜ's 3-round win self-timeout, where they collected their thoughts, composed themselves, and made sure they could still run that strategy. They didn't fall into complacency. They didn't think they were winning just because they could hit a site and their shots were better. They reset and kept it varied on their site takes. That's when we saw them start to hit B again, and Kesnet really just started to shine.
Kesnet started to shine. Mazzino had his moments. Nags did as well.
Klaus.
And it wasn't just skills, right? Like I was just reminded after seeing it on the replay when he worked his way into garage through window, managed to capture 2 members of FNATIC that were working their way out towards C. It was a death trap, right? Like, and if KRÜ can continue to find those windows to cause serious problems, this could potentially be bad.
I just want a production. Can we just shorten everything? I want to get in the next map real quick. That's your job.
All right, you got it. We're going to a break. We'll be right back.